Let's see if I can log in. Okay. Yeah. It's saying Lisa Gibson, doesn't say me, but
Yeah, just say it's
yeah, that's fine.
because you're on the computer.
Yeah,
You
okay.
say you're giving us
I
the
will
guy,
say.
yeah,
Yeah,
so-
I know. I just
He says, this is what he says.
how I get in here? Hold on. So, okay, on participant. Okay, start video. I'll mute. Okay, let's mute. I'm only on, I guess.
Hi, Helena.
There you go. I got it in mute. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, before they recorded, I want to tell you, you still have to sign this paper for the bank for you.
Okay.
You're the last one, and then everybody, 3 other people sign already. Now you have to sign it. When you sign it, I have to have Charles to sign as a secretary, the final paper, and then I think you should be all set by the time you sign it. So whenever you have time and want to come in here real quick to sign that again, just let me know, okay?
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what my schedule is this week.
Okay.
But I will make sure that you're there before I stop by. It'll be sometime this week.
It will be sometime this week. Okay. Well, let me know. Email me. So I'm here. I will be here. I should not between.
Okay. Well, sometimes you're up at Middletown, right?
No, I don't go. I mostly do RMO. So in Middletown, I schedule just go there because the bookkeeper working out of the house most of the time, out of her house there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so we talk on the phone and I doing stuff. Plus we have a lot of stuff now this month to do, a lot of reports on the capital to the feds. So yeah.
Has our audit process started yet?
No, they haven't. I'm just glad because I want to just finish. I think we probably will have to have extension, with the COVID and all this thing. They contact me and they want to come in like in July, and I wasn't ready. I haven't even closed my books, nothing. So now, oh, who's that? Who's that in Safari?
Good morning.
Oh, it's Leslie.
Hello.
She put in the picture, Safari picture.
Yes,
Good
me.
morning.
It's my safari picture.
You just did that to make us feel badly.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's before we had to wear masks too. But
Oh, you would have. So you will go again there if you have a chance, Leslie?
oh,
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
like it. Okay. That's why I ask. If people say they will go again, that means they like first time.
yeah, that was when we did the national parks and whatnot out in Arizona, and that was in Bryce Canyon. That was just wonderful.
Oh, Bryson.
Oh, that's what. Oh,
Bryce is
wow.
my favorite. Yeah.
Oh.
It's very pretty out there.
Mm-hmm.
Utah's full of these magnificent national parks.
Absolutely. The topography is something you never see out here. It's
Nope.
just gorgeous. But it's hot. If you don't like hot, don't go.
Yeah,
That's my advice.
that's true. That's true. And they had a woman disappear hiking there in the last month or so.
There are plenty of places to kill yourself if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. That
And they
someone
won't,
she was taken maybe by other people.
Oh, well, that would be Iggy. I wouldn't want that. No.
oh, Charles there. I
Yeah.
see Charles there, yes? Charlie? Or maybe not yet.
That was
probably
He's
check.
on. He's on.
by the
United
United States of
America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
Stands.
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and
liberty
justice for all.
Liberty and justice for
Okay.
all.
Thank you. Item number 3, budget versus actual. Helena?
Yes, hold on. Joe, gotta bring the screen. Can you log in, Joe? I log out.
No, don't touch it.
I don't. No. For some reason, he can't log in. Will be a lot of difficulty today. Okay, budget was actually, Joe, can you bring a little bit up? So I can, yes, so we can see. It's only 2 months to our new budget. So everything looks good. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time to explain. You guys can look at every single one there. So Charlie, we made, I haven't closed yet, actually September yet, but so far we, for those 2 months, we made like $6,000 in Charlie. The expenses may start coming in, maybe be less, but that's how they look. Everything else with the budget, so there's no deficit anywhere, so you can see there's no issue. Regional shuttle, Route 81, Midshore, Riverside, Transcend Call, Municipal Dial, Extra Mile, Trolley, and ADA. I haven't did the ADA yet, but I will work for next board meeting because I don't have actual report on ADA yet because it's
Okay.
not as many.
Helena, on your labeling up there where it says fiscal year ending 19, that should be 20.
Which one is that? On which one?
Line
I may on
row 3.
okay. I meant oh, I see. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I copy from
That's
previous
okay.
year, and I usually yes, it should be fiscal year end 20. Yes.
Okay.
So I will fix. Oh, Joe already fixed it. It's probably
Okay.
in every single one, but I will for next board meeting. I fix it. I changed the period by then. Yes. So budget
Okay.
20. Yes. Thank
right.
you. Well, actually, it's 21. Yeah.
Were you going to go through any of the specifics, or is that sufficient, do you think?
If you want to, Joe, just click it so you can see. You can see where we are. You can click on each one. Like I said, it's I have each one, and it's bring it up to the taller one. If any issue show up in each one, you go look at it and see on the taller budget, on the first year-to-date budget. So
Okay.
so far we don't have. It's everything with the budget. So it's the beginning of the year. Usually we have no issue with that. So.
Is there anything unusual that's occurred or hasn't occurred?
Like I said, I haven't done ADA yet because I'm a little behind with that because it's a lot of reports. Margaret just did for me the report. So, but we don't have that many trips, so I can build them like an. They haven't said nothing. I can build them on a quarterly. So I'm probably with a few weeks will build them. Then I will do the report. So I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Any
So yeah,
questions?
and a taxi voucher, we just started, we didn't have nothing in July. We just started in August, I think we got first bill. There's nobody took trips in July, so we haven't got bill, but so, so that's what Joe tried to go through all of them. So yeah, so there's no issue unless you guys have any questions on it.
Okay. Any questions?
The one thing we don't have is fair revenue.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice to see no deficits so far.
Yeah, it's in the beginning. It's only 2 months. So, but that's good.
Okay. Cash flow, Helena.
Okay. Well, as you see, everything looks good. So we there's money will be going out and money coming in, and we have I just built for CARE Act for $121,000. I think when I was doing cash flow, we haven't received it, but they fast backs. We already received those money. The money coming in from DOT quarterly. You see the municipal grant. We haven't received for first quarter, but we already, I don't know, I have to make a phone calls, but so the other stuff. So as you see, there seems to be an issue. We're in pretty good shape with us, general fund helping us and our quarterly. So we're good. There's no
You
issue.
want to go into what was included in that CARES Act draw?
Oh, CARE Act, 121,000 was, I billed them for the radio we receive and some other miscellaneous stuff. It was like $55 and $71,000 we billed CARE Act for the extra mile.
Helena, technically, when when Ninetown wants to reclaim some of that CARES money, do we have to apply to DOT for approval to do that?
No, this one CARE Act money, it was, we got $1 million. And this is 100% federal money, so we don't have to deal with this one with DOT. We directly bill federal government, FDA.
We can use it for anything we want within.
Yes, the thing is this usually when we get from federal government, we usually get capital money. This one was first time since I've been here, they give us operational money, so we can use for operation. Before we could not use the money, we only can buy stuff, buses and other stuff. Now we can use for operations and capital probably, but we have capital money. We have 4 grants, capital grants.
Of the $1 million that we've received, how much has been spent?
With which one money? That's only first time the draw.
So
the
the
draw
only
$121,000. It's the first the total together. I make 2 draws, and the total was $121,872.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Plus we have a very little, but we also have the CARE Act money that goes through DOT because we have this is urban. We have rural one, and they give us $30,000. So we have that, and that one it's kind of difficult. They control all the stuff, and we have to go through with them, and we got to get approval. But we buy on that one, but it's only $30,000. So that's it. So we got $1 million there and $30,000 from DOT.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Helena? Okay, thank you.
That's
Yeah,
good.
guys.
Pardon? Next item on the agenda, employee compensation. It's that time of year to take a look at this. So, Joe, are you presenting on this?
We talked with you. I don't know who wanted, but Joe and I work together on this thing. So I don't know. You wanted Joe go for it, or you want me to talk? I don't know. I don't care.
I'll let you, since you know the numbers better.
Okay. So what I did, I split between drivers and other staff. I put in non-drivers, but last year what we did we did the same thing this year. We give 3% to non-drivers, and that was last year we gave them on the 7/1. We did retroactive. With the drivers last year, we gave them in January. We gave them $1. So what we did this year, we put it the same thing. So in January, they will have a year exactly when last time they got it. So Joe was thinking, we was talking, and we put it, if we give them in January 50 cents or $1, and I break all these numbers and show you will there be cost to this fiscal year. But so non-drivers, drivers with January 1st on 50 cents, drivers in January 1st on $1. So that the numbers look like. So it's up to you guys. You make your decision what you want to do.
And our
Alina,
thinking-
on the non-drivers, you got on the hourly current salary,
I add all
105.82.
them together because what I did, I have a different chart there. I just did that for myself and then I multiply and I said how much yearly will be in yearly. So I increases will be $3 on the percentage of that. So that's $6. That's how I did it. $6,500 plus tax. So it's $7,000. That's how I did. So you see the difference between what they make in 105 together, all the salary plus 108, it's exactly 3%. So,
What the 105.82? What is that for? How many hours or what? How do we get
it's a salary.
105.82?
I know, it's a total salary, all staff together will be making an hour. So all these people
We're only
now.
talking about a few people here.
Yes, it's only it's me.
My question is how do we? What's the basis on which we pay them?
Yeah, we together every so if you look at yearly, last year was 220,106 cost us. And this year we give them 3%. I should not put it hourly because I just did that for myself. So it's 226.69. So the difference will be increasing for whole total staff will be $3.17, which is be $65.94. And the taxes, so total for whole year for two dispatchers, me, Lisa, and a service worker, so 5 people, will be $75.83, 3%.
Helena, you have a date on there of July 1st of 20. What happened?
Because last year we give everybody, we will do it on a yearly. So last year the raises went for the staff in the beginning of fiscal year. We give them 3%, which was less than. Then we give drivers in January 2020. So
on the non-drivers, did they get something on January 1st of 20?
no, they got on this July 1st, 2019.
Okay, because that's 20.
So now we're doing the same thing, and why we will calculate retro back to 701. I will calculate for that.
Oh, okay. So this
Okay, so I put it for whole years. It's starting on 7/1. So for them will be starting on 7/1. For the drivers will starting on 1/1.
Okay.
The reason we've been doing that is because the drivers have been getting like 7%.
They've been given 6 to 7% increases. Yeah. Yes. So yeah.
Yeah, and this
The
tax being a
dollar
lower
for them is like
percentage, so
7.
we've been
Helena, thank you for
Doing that.
clarifying who the 9 drivers are. How many drivers do we have?
Well, we have, I believe, 21. We've been hiring people, so I think all total 21. So we have 5 people, and 21. Yes, 26 probably 26 total. So we have like 21 drivers. I believe we have. I have somewhere. I don't have it then.
Well, how many
Like 14 full timers, and rest of it part timers.
How many are part-time versus full-time?
Excuse me?
How many of the drivers are part-time versus full-time?
Let me look. I can look at. I think I have the stuff behind it. I believe it's. Don't give me. I don't. I know it's 14. Supposed to 14 full time. So then 7 will be part time or something like that. So it's 21 drivers.
Thank you.
So this the 50 cents is what they did receive on January 1st of 20?
Oh,
no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't. No. I'm sorry. It has to be 20. Yes. It has to be all. It has to be 21.
I'm very confused.
Yeah,
What is the 50
What they
cents?
on a 20 they received $1 last year.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's all back up for a minute. There's a 50-cent chart that says January
can you
1st
fix
of 20.
It has to be 21. Joe will fix it. This has to be 121. So Can you fix that, Joe?
Okay, so the 50
Yeah.
cents and the $1 are
That's
simply,
scenario one, okay,
they're options for us to consider now.
correct, yes. And can
Okay.
you change that to 21, please, Joe? Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. That's what it's supposed to be, scenario one or scenario two for the drivers, yes.
Okay.
And last day increase was on January 1st, 2020. That was
Okay.
dollar, Joe's
All
typing
right.
now, yeah.
Where does each of these bring us, the 50 cents or the $1 an hour, with regard to our competitive market position?
Joe, you probably know better, I don't know. I think,
Oh, the only thing really that competes with us in the area directly is Tool Bus, and they're in the mid-17s.
Okay, so either one of
They're
those.
advertising like 1750 around that when you.
Okay, so
the starting salary there, yes?
you're basically saying that either of those options brings us competitive?
Yeah. So what we were looking at there was that if we did 50 cents, then we would plan. It would really more just be splitting the dollar into 2 6-month increments, because this year, even though we had a flat budget, we have CARES money. Okay. Next year, we're probably looking at a flat budget, best case scenario. So, another big increase might be hard next year. So we were just thinking if we split it into 2, that kind of gives people 2 increases in the year.
So how would that work? 50 cents would be provided on January 1st, and when would the other 50 cents be provided?
We were thinking, and again, it would be up to whatever is decided by the board, but July 1 would probably be the second 50 cents. But of course, if we get told the budget's disastrous next year, we could revisit it.
Okay, that leads to the next question of how will either of these scenarios be funded?
Well, first we will, that's what we did last year. We would bill on the beginning, bill everything to the grants, and on the end, if there's shortage or something that will be funded, then we will be billed to their salary to the CARE Act. So the shortage of it. So if this is going be something, fuel stay low, maintenance stay low, we may have to dip in CARE Act money.
And maintenance has been very low. But
yes, and the maintenance been low, and fuel been pretty good. So it's like I said, we will see that. We don't see now nothing. We will see all the changes when we start after January. We start watching budget and see, and then if we have to build some to the CARE Act, we will. So.
Okay. Other questions from other members? Okay,
and
Joe.
one other thing to remember is that on September 1st, the minimum wage in the state went up $1. So I don't know if that's been, fully
It's $12 now, yes.
factored into everybody. So right, it's now up to 12. So that's when we started with the dollars a couple of years ago. It was really in response to the minimum wage going up $1 per year and trying to stay, about $5 or so. No, well, we want to stay about where we were above minimum wage, which was $6 at the time. So, so we might see school buses change, soon.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't think that's fully into everybody's wages yet, though. It takes a little while.
Susan, I have a question. Belatedly, on non-drivers, I see 3% increase. In drivers, I see a dollar amount, 50 cents and $1. The 50% increase would be what percent? And the dollar increase would be what percent? Do we know that? I want to see how it compares to the non-drivers.
The dollar is about a little over 6%, over 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and 50% is about 3.
Yeah.
Joe, if you're looking at potential, budget, restrictions in the following year, it would seem to me the thing to do now is to do the 50 cents. And if you want to raise it again, another 50 cents, you can do that when you see what the budget is. But you can't go give them the dollar and then take 50 cents away. So I think you're better off giving the 50 cents and having the possibility of adding another 50 cents, when we know better what the next budget's going to be. That's my view.
Joe, do you have a recommendation?
Yeah. It's hard because Charlie says exactly what my concern is that what next year looks like, and we go through this every year. So every year we discuss this at this time of year, and we don't know what next year looks like. But of course, this year we do know that the coronavirus is going to impact the budget. That's what we heard yesterday, again, from DOT, that things are, the coronavirus has made the estimated date of the Transportation Trust Fund no longer paying for itself. It's accelerated it to like next year instead of being 3 years out. So I think that for the next at least year, maybe two, we're probably looking at best case scenario, and probably most likely scenario is flat budgets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of like the idea of we split it so that
Don't pick up the phone.
we are giving regular raises until then, but but I also am a bit, I do want to keep us ahead of minimum wage too. As minimum wage keeps rising $1, we don't want it to get anywhere close to where we are, because that will make it, once the economy improves, of course, again, everything is different right now because we're having no problem finding drivers at the moment because of the current economy. But hopefully that's going to change soon. I mean, the economy side, not the ability to find drivers, but hopefully the economy is going to improve again soon. And so that's another consideration we have to keep in mind, is that the minimum wage is going to keep going up. It goes up again next. Is it September 1, Elena, or October? October 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Joe, the 25,000 for the $1, what time frame does that cover?
Elena, that was 6 months? That's 6 months.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would
That's this year.
So that's
yeah.
really half of a year of a full year $1 increase?
Correct.
Right. So next year it'll be 50,000.
If we give them $1, yeah.
Okay, so opting for scenario 2, which is the $1, keeps us more aligned where we want to be with regard to the minimum wage, but it is a full annual cost of $50,000 starting July 1st.
Correct. And both scenarios are if we do 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
They both become the same next year if we do both 50-cent increases.
Yes. Okay.
With the
$25,000.
savings being this year.
Okay. Other comments, questions, thoughts?
Am I allowed to comment?
Absolutely.
Oh, goody. I'm going back in my mind years ago how important we felt it was to be highly competitive with the school buses, not knowing if they're going up. Joe's commented that they're probably mid-17 right now. I personally would like, because we also are recognizing the stress of driving during COVID, I personally lean towards especially if we have the CARES money in hand, do the dollar now, make a big statement, make us highly competitive with school buses, especially if they go up after you've made your decision, and either attract drivers and or not lose drivers to the school. I would favor the $1 upfront, making a strong statement to our drivers that we appreciate them and want to hold on to them. That's my feeling.
One other question. We gave everyone a bonus, did we not, for COVID?
We did, yes.
No,
And
we
that-
didn't. Not everybody got it.
Okay, that was a
Drivers.
one,
Drivers got it, only drivers, yes.
It was
All the
a-
drivers, and I believe service worker got it, yeah.
but it was
Yeah,
a one,
we could do
it
that.
was a one-time bonus in recognition of all their efforts
Yes.
on COVID. And when was that provided?
That was done in the payroll. I look back, and it was in May 12 payroll we give them.
In May, okay,
Correct, May 12, yes.
okay. Is it possible to use that strategy again, which is give them a combination of a salary increase and another one-time bonus using the care funds?
It's question to Joe.
It is an eligible expense
It
under the
is,
CARES Act. Yep.
okay. Is that something that makes sense to you as executive director? Or should we just focus on salary increase?
So we did talk about this, and we were thinking that probably the best way to do it, because I think just thinking that there is not a clear end in sight for this pandemic.
Mhm.
That the talk is maybe the end of next year. That we kind of don't want. Well, we want to recognize what everyone's done. We don't want to start creating a situation where they think that bonuses are going to keep coming. So probably the best thing to do would just be, in that scenario, if we want to kind of do something to recognize all their efforts, just retro it back. And so that instead of it being like a one-time bonus, they will get a one-time big payment of a retro pay, but it won't officially
I'm
be a
not
bonus.
following. I don't understand what you mean.
So like if we say, okay, let's go with $1.
Okay,
And we say, okay, and then we also retro it back to July 1.
instead of waiting
And
till
that's, right, and then that's their bonus because they get a big retro pay.
okay, all right. That's a creative way of doing it.
So, and we could do it closer to July 1, so it's like right at Christmas time, they get a nice big bonus,
Mm-hmm.
a nice big retro, but it's not a bonus.
Gotcha.
And that way, because you know how bonuses become. People start to then rely on them.
I
And
do.
then when you don't do a bonus next year,
Right.
because the pandemic's still going and they want a bonus again, and we don't have the money because times get tougher, so, then it becomes a disappointment and creates problems. Whereas a retro is not something you expect all the time.
Okay. On the one hand, the bonus does flirt with becoming an entitlement, but on the other hand, doing a retroactive salary increase carries with it all those permanent, ongoing tax obligations as well, which a one-time bonus does not have.
Right, but I would just do whatever we decide. So whatever we decide we're going to do on July 1, that's what we retro back.
Okay. But my
So we've
point is
already made the decision to go forward with it at that point, to carry that cost going on.
okay, good point. Okay. All right. Other thoughts on this? We have Charlie's, we have Leslie's, Joan.
She's mute.
Joan, you need to unmute.
She is.
Are you asking my opinion?
I am.
I don't know. Listening, I think, would go with the 50%, 50 cents, and consider doing a bonus. I'm wondering if it would be good for the drivers not only to see an increase, but also to make them even feel good by giving them a bonus of appreciation of driving during COVID. I mean, what do other people think about that? As opposed to going straight to the dollar. I don't know. I'm torn right now.
Well, Joe's comment is that he's concerned, I don't mean to speak for you, but about the expectation that repeated bonuses tends to create. I encountered that in our own company. And that's the downside of that, as opposed to getting them, let's say, the same amount of money in a dollar increase that goes retro to July 1st, that would be paid out in November, December in time for the holidays.
So at $1, a full-time person would end up getting a retro somewhere, at half the year. It's going to be close to $1,000.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge,
Mhm.
a huge benefit to.
It's again assuming that it's $1. If you did the 50 cents, then it's going to be about 500. So,
Joe, say that slower.
so I was saying that if we did at $1, if we go with the dollar raise and then retro that to July 1 for a full-time employee, that's going to be about $1,000. Just based on 2080 hours for a full-time employee per year. At 6 months, it'll be around somewhere close to $1,000.
Oh, okay.
If we go with the 50 cent, then it will be a retro of about $500. So,
Okay.
yeah, we were just thinking that's a way to do a bonus without it being a bonus. It's a raise that we then retroed. Because we already did the one bonus, and if we do another bonus at a time, we did the last bonus when everything was shut down and they were the only people working.
Joe, how much was
most companies? It varied. It was as high as, what was the highest? Around 1,000, right, Helena?
$1,000, yes.
as high as what?
$1,000.
As high as 1,000.
Oh, okay.
I think Joe calculate on the hours they work.
No,
And
no,
you
I
put the
count.
code.
Nope.
No, I don't know
I
how
calculate.
you calculate.
So
You
our
calculate.
attorney,
Explain.
our attorney told us we couldn't do it by hour.
Okay. Okay.
Without possibly running into FMLA. I have two FLSA issues. So
Okay.
we use the hours as a basis for kind of dividing up a pool of money.
Proportion. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. That's what it was.
So,
Okay.
Joe, just going to ask for a little clarification. Whether we give them 50 cents or $1, this is going to be retroactive from July 1st of this year?
Well, that's the discussion we're having. Is they're kind of two pieces. So one's a raise on July 1st, and then one's do we want to do something that's a type of bonus? And if we do, what's the best way to do that? And so, I'm just providing one way to do that instead of just a regular bonus. We can do it as retro pay.
Charlie,
whatever we decide to do.
Let's identify all the different options that we have here. If you look at the chart, option 1 is a 50-cent increase on January 1st of 21. Option 2 is a $1 increase on January 1st of 21. Option 3 is a 50-cent increase retroactive to July 1st of this year, which would result in an additional $500 payment. Option 4 is a $1 increase retroactive to July 1st of this year, which would result in an unanticipated bonus type payment of $1,000. And the fifth option is some combination of an hourly increase and a one-time bonus, as Joan has described. Is that pretty much what we're looking at here, Joe?
Yes, that's right.
Joe, I have another question in relation to it. if these increases that are on this chart start on January of 2021, is there a commitment for how long that is? Is that for a year, or is it open,
Basically
until
forever.
we decide to do something else in 6 months or a year? My question is, is there a time frame on the 50 cent or dollar increase?
So our thinking was if we did the 50 cents, then our intention would be to do another 50 cents July 1. Again.
Okay, but the drivers are not told that there is a time frame.
No, we wouldn't say that just in case.
It's not an annual contract that you.
No, it is not.
Okay.
We.
I got it.
Our employees are not unionized, so we have the total.
Joe, here's the question I think that the board members have of you. Given those 5 different options, which of those, in your opinion, is the best one for us to choose, given the marketplace, the workforce as you know them, the financial climate, and anything else that you take into account in dealing with our staff? Which of those 5 is what you would recommend?
As always, the problem is the uncertainty of the financial climate. I mean, I know that all the different budget cut scenarios pretty much keep bus for the most part whole. So I think that we are pretty safe, and again, barring any other massive shutdown or something like that. But if things continue as they are today, I think we're pretty safe at a flat budget next year. That will be 2 years of flat. So that does start to be like a cut. But when you factor in that they're driving through a pandemic, I would really like to do the dollar and then do it retro back. But I am concerned that next year we might not be able to do anything. In which case, then I like the idea of at least we do a raise now and we do a raise in July, and then people know they just had a raise in July.
Well,
so I'm kind of torn between the two, and depending on what we see going on with the state revenues, I'll probably be changing right up until Friday, depending on what we keep seeing going on. But I am, between, again, like I said, being number one, they've been working through this pandemic, and number two, the other factor is the minimum wage did not stop going up. Now, there were some people pressuring the governor to pause the minimum wage increase, but he did not. So.
No, he didn't pause the union increase either.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that doesn't answer.
And then next year they go up again. So.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Well, my top 2.
We need what you think is the best thing to do. That's why you get the big bucks.
Yeah, I think that as long as we're willing to assume that, understand that there is a risk that next year there is a possibility of a budget cut. I don't think it'll be significant, but if there is one, I think, there could be a small one. Then I think that given, again, the fact that they've all worked through this coronavirus, that we just do the dollar now. Again, and Helena knows I was really leaning towards the first scenario, but when you factor everything in, I think just the big amount now looks good.
Would that
And-
dollar be, are you talking also retroactive to July 1st?
And then, I'm a lot less concerned about a one-time. That doesn't concern me very much. We know we have the CARES money. That's one time. My bigger concern is, what we commit to ongoing. And then can we keep giving something? Because Helena could tell you she was already getting asked a couple months ago, oh, when are we getting a raise again? When they just got one in January at $1, a 7% raise at the time. And, so people's memory is short on their raises. So,
So,
that's where I'm more, I
So-
worry about next year. But, a one-time increase, a one-time retro of 25,000, I'm not worried about that with the CARES money. That doesn't concern me at all.
so
It's
is your recommendation that we adopt a $1 increase retroactive to July 1st of 20 without any other bonus?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I would do instead of a bonus. In lieu of a bonus, I would just retro it to
Okay.
July 1.
And the 3%
And
for
to be paid out in.
Okay, and the 3% for non-drivers you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, that's what we budgeted, and we've been doing the drivers more because our drivers were comparably more underpaid.
Oh, okay. So that's, everyone, that's Joe's recommendation. Let me hear from all of you as to what you are willing to approve.
Well, Susan, what do you think? I'd like to hear your thoughts too, though, if you don't mind.
I support the dollar retroactive to July 1st. I think that given the $800,000 or $900,000 we have in CARES money, and the fact that we will need these drivers no matter what happens, the more that they feel we have treated them fairly and equitably vis-a-vis the minimum wage and the working conditions they've had to operate under, to me, the benefits outweigh the risk of going with the dollar retroactively. And I think Joe's comment on concern about a one-time bonus is, there's good reason to be concerned about that. After a while, then there's an expectation and people get angry when they don't get it.
Yeah,
So,
plus the fact of thinking about it, the point that was made about the bonus is not it's just one time, it's not continuing. Whereas so it's not, it's nice to give a bonus, and I'm for bonuses for a lot of different situations, but on this other hand, if we give the dollar increase, that's going to be consistent from now on forward,
Mhm.
retroactively forward, which I think probably would be more beneficial and appreciated by the drivers.
Charlie, where are you? I know you were concerned about the dollar. Where are you with regard to Joe's recommendation?
Are you asking me or Charlie?
No,
Sorry.
Charlie's on mute.
Oh, Charlie's on mute. Well, Joan,
Oh, wait.
let me
Is
go
he?
back to
Hold
you.
on.
Joan, are you
He's on the
comfortable
phone.
with Joe's
Good,
recommendation?
Joe,
There
you
he is.
go.
Okay,
There he is.
gotcha.
Joan, are you comfortable with Joe's recommendation?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought I had said that in my comment.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I think you did, but I just clarified.
Yeah.
Charlie, where are you?
I'm okay with the dollar number. You're looking at a difference of $12,500. It's not any kind of a deal buster in my mind on that. What concerns me is we go up $1, which they will be getting on a continuous basis, and then come the end of 21, they're going to be working on a salary of $1, and then they're going to, I think they would ask her, well, are we going to get another, end of the year increase retroactive to July 1st of 21? I think once you start it, you then get, that's what they're going to think of. They're either entitled to or should get. It's a kind of precedent that I'm very uncomfortable with setting a precedent like that.
And does that mean you support that recommendation or not?
Well, I would say yes. Okay, I'll support that recommendation.
Okay. I do feel that with this type of workforce, the concerns that everyone has raised happen all the time. I know you did this for me today, but what are you going to do for me tomorrow? But the fact of the matter is, coronavirus will end at some point. We will still need these drivers, and nurturing and maintaining the loyal workforce is an important element. So if there's no further discussion on this, may I have a motion to ask the board to approve a 3% increase in wages for non-drivers effective January 1st, 2020, and a $1 increase for drivers hourly retroactive to July 1st, 2020. Did I say that correctly, Joe?
Susan,
Yes,
I thought when we talked about the non-drivers, on the spreadsheet, it says it would be retroactive to 7/1/2020.
Yeah.
And you said January 1, 2021.
The non-drivers are July 1st, 20. Did I say something different?
Yeah, you said January 1, 2021. That's why I asked.
I'm sorry. I
That's
misspoke.
fine.
I misspoke. The motion should be for a 3% increase in driver salaries retroactive to July 1st, 20, and a $1 increase in driver hourly wages retroactive also to July 20.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you, Charlie. Further discussion?
and I just add one more thing, that
Okay.
the little less than 900,000 we have in CARES money right now, that's the first round. We still have a second round of CARES money coming.
Right. And
What that is, I don't know exactly, but it'll probably be somewhere in the $500,000 to $1 million range, not including the $1,025,000 we're getting from Extra Mile.
okay, so that's an additional cushion.
That's additional money, yeah.
That we can likely count on. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? The motion is carried. Okay, thank you, everybody. Discussion of, let's see.
Did we do the fair?
We skipped Extra Mile.
We didn't.
Yeah, I think we skipped Extra Mile.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have that on. I'm using an old agenda. I'm sorry, Joe. Let's go back to the Extra Mile Fair.
Yeah. All right, so I have up our current fares on the screen. And not that we're necessarily at a point yet to set a fare, but I want to us to kind of have that discussion and know where we all stand, so that I could then work with DOT on setting that fare and when we're going to implement it. And so, as I said, I put it up our current fares there because my thoughts are that we want to keep it within our current fare structure, unless we want. I mean, not to say that we couldn't make a totally different amount, but I think it's easier to not add all more different types of fares. The other thing is that our mobile ticketing vendor, we selected them because they also work with our extra mile software. So if we have something that's consistent with something we already do, then again, it's just a little easier for the customer side. So, then the question is, where should it be? Should it be close to fixed route? Should it be more like dollar ride? There are a lot of people going between services too. So, again, if we keep it closer to fixed route, then you could do transfers and things like that. And then there's questions of, do we want to accept the fare media between the two? So there's a lot of things we need to be thinking about and discussing. And again, I don't expect we're going to come to a decision yet, but kind of if we just have, again, we got to start thinking about it and where we want it to be and how much we want to, like I said, tie into our other services.
What time frame, Joe, would the fare apply to?
I'm not sure. I mean, that will be up to us, really, between us and DOT. Where we had left it before the pandemic was they wanted us to keep it free to see kind of where ridership tops out at, and then put in a fare. Ridership is building back up again. With the new funding now for Extra Mile, we're going to add on another bus like we've been wanting to do, because that's been holding us back from increasing ridership, because there's times of the day that are just so busy you can't fit another trip. So, I think we'll continue to see it grow for a while. I don't know when exactly we'll top out, and if that's still their position that they want us to go until we see the ridership level off.
When did we first implement a fare? I mean, the program was free for a very long time.
We never have.
Oh, it's still free.
Still free, yeah. Well, everything's free right now, but we never, we never did a fare. We started looking into it. We started, working on. We started thinking about it, and then COVID happened, and so we stopped. And so I think I just want us to be prepared and be thinking about it, and have had some discussions about it, and understand where we want it to fit into things. And
Joe, do you have any feel on what impact ridership will be affected if you put a fare on Extra Mile trips?
It's hard to say. There will be an impact, of course. I mean,
so Joe,
it's probably, I mean, my guess is maybe you'll lose 8 to 10% of the ridership. When we've done surveys, we did a big survey as part of the whole regional bus study, and everyone that responded except one person indicated they would be willing to pay a fare. And the average of everybody's response was in the mid threes. So it was right around $350. Mm-hmm. So that's what the public has told us. Now, what people tell you and what they actually do are often not the same thing. But just kind of gives you an idea that at least people have indicated that they're willing to pay, and they're willing to pay. They think it's worth even more than fixed route. So that tells you, it gives you some idea. But like I said, surveys are, asking people what they're going to do is often very different from what they actually do. So will they still ride? The answer is probably yes. Will they ride a little less? That answer too is probably less. Yes.
Joan?
So therefore, Joe, that effective 7/1/2020 really is not accurate. What is accurate is the new fares to be implemented on a schedule developed by the executive director. So maybe the 7/1/2020
That's the real
date just
that's
is
today's
fiscal year.
That's the current fares. That's what they are today. There is no extra mile fare. If you look, there's no extra mile fare here. So today we don't have one. I'm just showing you what all of our other fares are. So you know what all of our fares are. We don't have an extra mile fare yet. We've never set one.
I know that.
So oh, you mean, you're right, that people are not paying this today. You are correct. Because of the delay due to COVID. They will resume on November 1st.
Okay.
It seems to me, Joe, that what we do want is a fare structure for extra mile that has some level of parity with our existing fare structure, even though they're different kinds of rides. So for example, we wouldn't want to charge $5 for extra mile when a regular bus for typically a much longer ride is $3.50.
Exactly.
Or $175. What exactly are you looking for from the committee today on this particular issue?
I think, like I said, just discussion. I think that's where we are now. Is let's get discussion and as you just said, what you just pointed out is exactly some of the things we need to be thinking. Is right. A lot of times at $3.50 for dollar ride, people are doing a 20-mile trip. So, whereas the average trip for extra mile is a few miles. It's like 3 or 4 miles. So, I think just getting a sense of where we're going to price it. Are we pricing it closer to fixed route? Are we pricing it closer to dollar ride? Do we all agree that we want it to fit somewhere in our current fare structure? Start thinking about passes we accept on it, and kind of how it fits into the rest of the system. And one of the ways it does that is by fares and making the fares comparable and easy.
Perhaps what we could do at the finance committee level is ask you to prepare 2 alternative structures that we could consider.
Sure.
Keeping it in that overall umbrella of having it be reasonable within the context of our overall fares.
And does anyone feel that we absolutely don't want it to be the same as a fixed route, or that's one of the things too. Personally, I'm kind of leaning that way only because I'm just thinking in how people pay. It's easier for the customer side that there's this fare and I got to verify with the vendors and all that because it's all this new technology. But I believe that we can make it. I know we can make it so it's the same. It pulls that same $1.75. And then I got to see if that then allows transfers between services.
Okay. It sounds like there's a little bit of homework to be done here.
So as long as everyone's okay with the idea of possibly $1.75 and I don't get the direction that no, it has to be more, then I can look at that. But if we're saying it has to be more, that's going to be more challenging to do something, to come up with how do you transfer and all that. So I think that's kind of direction I need. Are we okay with the idea of maybe it's $1.75, if that, allows people to move between other services easier.
Is that something that Charlie, you and Joan are comfortable with?
Yeah, just to make sure that I'm clear with this, because I was not able to hear what Joe was saying 100% in the beginning, and I totally misread this slide, I admit it. So this slide here, forget about the extra mile fare on the side. This is just a discussion point or beginning of a discussion point as to this is what we're currently charging. Is that correct, Joe?
Mhm.
Correct, right.
Okay.
Right, yeah, that's our current fares, and we're just discussing kind of where will extra mile fit in.
All right, so this is just like a starting point, but then as Susan mentioned, okay, now I got it. And so the extra fare mile has not been determined. We're still in the beginning discussion point.
We are at the very beginning discussion.
Recommended that there's still some homework to be made by comparison with other fares. Is that right?
Well, more in the technology side, how
The
will
practicality.
it work? Right.
Okay.
Okay, Charlie?
Yeah, I think I go along with that. I think it needs, a little more, let's say, options of what are the, alternatives. Normally in transportation, you base your fare on distance, but here, I don't see how you could do that. I think it's got to be a fixed number. What that number is I think what Joe should take a look at and see if he can give us a couple options.
Okay.
And
Leslie, do you have any opinions on this?
No, I think you guys are going in the right direction. I think it's our fare schedule is confusing enough as it turns out. Every single
That
thing.
would be a good concern for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
you have
That is a
person-
concern.
You have a person trying to figure out how much is this is good luck to them. So
Yeah.
I think Joe needs to really just sit down with it and as long as you guys are all in agreement with an approximate number, I think that's the way to move forward.
Okay, Joe, is this okay for what you need?
Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Like I said, I just don't want to go down that track if the answer is no, we need to charge more. So that's exactly what I need because this is totally new, and
Exactly.
most systems doing these pilots, they're still free. There's only I've seen a couple that are charging, but most are still free. So this is new. This is really new. We're really early adopters of this, so that's why I want to involve you all early, so I know I'm on the right track.
Thank you, and I think there will be some attrition once the service is no longer free, but I think it's important for our customers not to feel they're being gouged for a popular service either. So I think we're in the right ballpark there. Okay, moving along. Thanks everyone for your forbearance on a long agenda. Discussion of First Transit contract. I asked Joe and Helena to put this item on the agenda. The concern that I have had for some time is whether or not Ninetown Transit is being equitably compensated for the amount of time that Joe and Helena now are spending at Middletown. Estuary has received a $3,000 credit monthly on our contract. How far back does that go, Helena?
Are you talking about Middletown? It's since December.
No, not
But
for you.
no, okay, that been going out probably 2.5 years. I think it started July 2018, the job. I can look at it.
All right,
July
so
18?
That sounds about right.
Yes,
Since
July
Joe
18.
was
The
tapped.
years are blending together.
Okay,
Yes.
since Joe was tapped to assist Middletown, we have received a $3,000 a month credit on our contract. beginning in December, Helena was provided a $1,000 a month bonus for the time that she is spending on Middletown. That $1,000 has come out of our credit from First Transit. Middletown is not paying anything for Joe's service or Helena's service. In addition to that, Middletown has been receiving payment in full on its contract for a director position it has not had to fill. When was the Middletown director fired, Joe?
She didn't. She left. She left.
Yeah, the last director left for another job.
She
And,
got another job. No, she wasn't.
Okay,
fired.
when did that happen?
In December.
It was around
And in
Thanksgiving.
November.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right, in
December.
November.
Yeah.
No, November of
After
2019.
Thanksgiving, I believe that's something.
Yeah, it was after Thanksgiving.
December. In December, I would say.
Okay, so they've been without a director since November of 2019. They have continued to be paid in full for that position, which is being filled now by Joe Comerford. My view is that a $3,000 credit, as things have ramped up, is potentially no longer adequate or fair for estuary transit. The other thing that is happening is that Helena is getting an increase in her bonus to $1,500 a month, and we are going to be using the CARES money to retroactively to cover all of the bonus payments that she has made. Helena, how much time during the week are you spending on Middletown, roughly?
It's hard to say because I would say between at least 8, probably to 10, maybe 8 to 10.
8 to 10 hours.
8, yeah.
So that's 25%. Joe, what's your number?
So I'm up there 2 days a week.
All right. So you're at 40%. That's a lot of time for estuary transit to be providing staff coverage and administration for the Middletown district, which is far more than it was back in 2018 when someone, don't know who, decided that this arrangement was worth a $3,000 a month credit on our contract. So that's the background. Let me open it up for discussion.
I'd like to ask Joe if Joe is the 40% of the time that you mentioned, is that to cover the current operating expense in Middletown, or is some of that going into the potential merger?
No, I'm not counting time for the merger. That's just for
Okay,
just
so
to keep the money.
just for Middletown's
Day-to-day.
current operating.
Right.
Okay. That leads me immediately into supporting Susan's opening comment that you think it's totally under reimbursed to us, Susan.
Okay.
I can't put a number on it, but I'm moving in that direction.
Joan?
I think Middletown is definitely benefiting by us providing all the time that Helena and Joe are giving, and Ninetown is not fully reimbursed for all the time that's given. So I am, based upon the background and some of the knowledge that I had, I don't think that it's a good situation for us. And I quite honestly, I don't know, or what are the options? What could we do about it?
Well, before we get into that, Leslie, your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm with Susan. Susan and I actually have spent a tiny bit of time discussing this. I have a real problem with this whole thing, and I really believe Middletown, some way or other, should be compensating directly, even if it's if they, however they work it through First Transit. I don't know. I don't care, but I think Helena and Joe have been working way overtime on all of this, and something's got to give. That's my impression. I don't know how you do it, but I see that 40% and 20% of their time there is takeaway time from us and or plus time for them. So something's got to happen here.
Okay, let's get back to Joan's question. And therefore, since there seems to be consensus that the current compensation is not equitable from First Transit, what are our options? I'm going to throw a few out there, ask you to respond. One option is to ask First Transit to prorate the contract based on Joe's 40%, which is a lot more than $3,000 a month. Another option is to ask Middletown, sorry.
We lost you.
I think she's on another call. Does anybody else have any other options that they want to throw in while Susan's busy?
So it's not something that concerns me, except from an equity point of view. Middletown is getting Joe for a minimum of 40%. That doesn't include all the things and all the meetings Joe goes to for this integration and all the headaches with DOT on the integration. And they're getting 25%, some days more, some weeks more, from Helena, with a very skeleton staff up there. And that's another option. I'm not sure that any of us is in a position to say it shouldn't be $3,000 a month, it should be 7 or 10 or whatever. Another option is for us to renegotiate the contract now based on dramatic changes in the workload for all of these items. And First Transit, in my opinion, did not handle this situation well from the beginning. And I think that they need to be held accountable for how this is working at this point. Other thoughts on where we go from here?
I don't know if it's a question of where we go from here, Susan. I want to know, and maybe Joe could provide information, what could we do? Because no matter, we could, I think we're all in agreement that we're getting the short and the stick, and that Middletown is definitely benefiting from it. But legally and procedurally and policy-wise, what options are available to us to do something? I don't know. So would I like to get more money for Joe and Helena? Absolutely. But what is actually feasible? I don't know.
I think, I don't know if anybody else missed a big part of what Susan was saying. But don't think we all heard all your options, Susan. You had cut out when that phone rang, and then
Oh, I did?
came back mid-sentence a little while later. So I think you might have already presented some other ideas.
Do you want me to
Yeah,
go
we all-
back over them?
Am I the only one that missed it?
Where she said, ask MTD, and then it ended. Tell her. Number 2. She didn't do number 2.
Right when your phone rang, it ended until about when you said about, I think it was right when you talked about possibly renegotiating the contract.
Okay, whose phone is that?
Mine.
Okay. Let me go back over some options here. And again, Joan, I'm not, we are able to provide more funding to Helena, which Joe recently did. Her monthly bonus went from 1,000 to 1,500. And the plan is to take that money from CARES and to take that money retroactively back to December from CARES. The issue is that Middletown really should be paying for her services.
Correct.
With regard to Joe's compensation, and I've talked to Leslie about this in the past, is that because Joe's under contract with First Transit, there's nothing we can do for Joe to be compensated better for doing basically 2 jobs. So what's left is for First Transit to reimburse Ninetown Transit fairly for the fact that our executive director is spending 40% of his time on simple day-to-day, not simple, but day-to-day operations for an organization that's still very fragile and not in great shape. And the option would be to use that 40% number and say to First Transit, we want 40% of our executive director's salary and benefits to be reimbursed to Ninetown Transit on the existing contract, because we are paying for services that we are not, that are going to another district. Keep in mind, First Transit is making a lot of money every month. What are they getting, Helena, every month? 10 or 11,000? You're on
I am mute, yes. I put it together, the chart there
Okay.
between us and them.
All right. So First Transit is receiving $11,000 a month and has been since November for a position they have not filled. That is extremely inequitable. Well, we are only getting a $3,000 credit for a high-level position who is basically saving Middletown's program. So one other option is for us to say, you calculate and show us the data, what 40% of our contract is for our executive director's salary and benefits, and that's the number we think is fair. Charlie?
Yeah, obviously, as I'm trying to digest what 40% of Joe's time to be spent at Middletown just kind of boggles my mind as to what impact that has to have on our operation. Joe's our executive director, and he's dedicating 60% of his time to us. I'm having a problem trying to put a number into that.
Well, it would be a fairly simple calculation for First Transit to do.
Susan, can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
My last conversation with First Transit was with Nick, who took over for David Lee. And I think I brought that conversation to the board at one of our, probably our last or the previous meeting.
Correct.
Which regarding Joe, and in order for Joe's level of compensation from First Transit to be adjusted, he needs to, they have steps that they have to follow. They just can't arbitrarily pick one executive director, pay him this or that. It all depends on the size of the district that their ED is working in. So clearly, if we consolidate with Middletown officially, then Joe would be the executive director for a larger district, and that would be First Transit would automatically be bumping him to a next level. If I have that wrong, Joe's going to have to jump in and correct me. But that's what I understood from Nick, and I thought I had made that clear to the board. If not, I apologize. But that is not Helena. Helena is not paid by First Transit. So that brings us back in my mind to the importance of Helena being recognized by both boards at this point in time, and going back to, hey, Middletown, cough something up here. That's me.
Joe, what's the status of Middletown's finances?
They're quite strong right now. They are, I don't know if you know the number of what is expected to be contributed to the general fund, but it should be a significant amount. I think by the end of this year.
We haven't closed. We haven't closed yet. I'm almost there. I closed it. I haven't looked at yet, but it looks good. I think we did took some money from CARE Act, $65,000. So we'll see. Because they got $1.1 million, so we got 65. But other than that, I think they would be with the budget. They were in the budget on the fixed route last year when we came. We worked with it. The maintenance were very. Hopefully this year they won't be the high. The maintenance was just very high there. Joe went through all the buses and they got the preventive maintenance and that. So I don't know what they expect next year for the maintenance. If they don't expect more, then they should be okay. Joe?
Joan?
Okay, couple of comments. Number one, I'm a little bit frustrated in the fact that payment for Halyana has come $1,000 from that 3,000 that we're getting, which means that compensation for us, for Joe, is only 2,000. And that in fact, now we're using the $500 from the CARE Act. I don't think that's appropriate. I personally think Middletown should be charged for Halyana's services. And I think that we need to go back to First Transit. And I understand, Joe, Leslie, what you said, because I did hear that in the board meeting about once we consolidate, yeah, Joe will be on a different pay schedule. But however, we're not being paid equitably for the work that he's been doing retroactive to when it started. And as we started talking more and more about the integration, I would say Joe's time has increased considerably. And correct me, Joe, if I'm not correct in saying that. So I think something needs to be done. And if the option is to go back to First Town Transit fine, I'm with it. And as far as Juliana, I would think that we should be able to charge Middletown for her services, unless that's not appropriate. And if it's not, I would like to know why.
Do you have a comment on that, Joe? Why we should or should not charge Middletown for Helena?
I could certainly, I could bring it up to Joe. I don't know that, I don't think it would
sorry.
be, I don't anticipate it being an issue with them.
Okay, I would expect actually that that would be something that Leslie might handle with him.
I'm happy to do so at the direction of our board, yes.
Okay, so with regard to Helena, then we are looking at $1,000 a month retroactive to December of 2019, plus the additional $500 and $1,000 going forward, correct?
So you're talking about $2,500 a month?
2,500 starting basically October 1st, and 1,000, or no, 1,500 a month.
Right.
1,500 a month starting October 1st, and recouping the $1,000 a month that was provided from December through September.
Hang on, let me just
We
calculate.
can work out the details later, but is there general agreement that we want to approach Middletown about this?
I think so.
Joan, Charlie?
Yeah, I think it definitely should should be approached.
Okay, so that is a method of dealing with the amount of time Helena is spending there. The issue of the credit to Ninetown Transit from First Transit. I believe at the time that Nick appeared at our committee meeting, we actually talked about the potential need to renegotiate that contract prior to its expiration. And it expires, when does it expire? November of next year.
Yeah.
Of next year with two add-ons, right? Two optional.
That's correct.
Okay. Here's what I recommend, that at the board meeting on Friday, we have a discussion about this. And if there is consensus that the First Transit current level of $3,000 is insufficient, because in fact, Joe's schedule has changed dramatically, that we then task Leslie or I don't know who negotiates this contract. Somebody, Leslie, you
Last
have.
time, well, it was
Leslie,
a subcommittee.
Okay.
Remember, it was we had a subcommittee of the board last time. Of course,
Right,
it's been,
it's just,
But
it was a
Leslie
subcommittee, but this, I
Leslie
mean,
has
this is
contact with-
conversation.
Pardon?
Before we start negotiating with them, I think we just open a conversation with Nick and see what
Exactly.
their response is. Okay.
Yes, yes. And you have the contact with him, so I'm suggesting that the best way to proceed at this point is for you to not only contact Joe Solaris of Middletown, Helena and Joe can give you the numbers on that, but you start that conversation with Nick, and let's see if we have the agreement of the full board on Friday to go ahead and initiate those discussions.
All right, fine. Yeah, I prefer to not to talk to anybody until the whole board is on board with this.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay.
Do we need any motions or recommendations for this from this committee to take to the board?
Well, are you going to make a motion at this point in time suggesting, from the board, from the finance committee, to request that the board authorize Leslie to do X, Y, and Z. I think if you had a motion on your minutes, that'd be helpful.
The only, do you want this discussed in open session or executive session, seeing as that you're talking about renegotiating a contract?
Yeah.
Because that will determine whether we should, we don't want to have much of an emotion for something. You don't want a motion on the record of what you're going to want to negotiate.
I don't think I'm negotiating at this point so much as discussing with.
You're discussing the possibility of renegotiating a contract.
This
So how much do you want on
possibility.
open session on a video posted on our website?
It doesn't have to necessarily be a negotiation. We didn't renegotiate the contract when the $3,000 credit was issued. But here's what I think would be helpful is let's have this discussion in executive session at the meeting on Friday. And a motion to authorize Leslie to contact the chairman of Middletown and Nick, whomever, from First Transit to discuss changes in reimbursement to Ninetown Transit. Doesn't have to be a
But
contract.
you don't want that motion made, you can't make any motions in executive session, so at what point are you
Come out.
proposing this? a
You come
motion
out.
be made?
You come out.
You come out. Make the motion.
Okay, fine.
And Nick is planning to, I know, attend at least the beginning.
Oh. Well, so.
So more reason why you'd want to do this in executive session.
I'm sorry, what, Joe?
More reason why you'd want to do it in executive session.
Correct. Correct. Okay, so we will not move any motions on these issues today, but we will have a discussion about both issues in executive session on Friday with a potential action afterwards when we come out of executive session. Is that agreed to by everyone?
Yes.
Yep, yes.
Okay, Leslie?
Well, I don't get to agree.
But
I'm just here to look good. In theory, I agree, but I'm not a vote, so there you are.
exactly. All right, well, I was asking your opinion. Okay. All righty. Let's see. Discussion of items for October 14th board meeting. I guess those include these compensation, those include the employee compensation, number 1. Number 2 is Ninetown Transit reimbursement, number 2. And number 3, extra mile fare. Do you think we need to bring that to the board, Joe? Joe?
He's mute. Joe mute.
There you go.
Are you mute?
Sorry.
Joe,
I was adjusting the agenda so,
Oh, okay.
as you were talking. So I had it as a new business item.
Extra mile?
Yeah. And I think we just you give an update of what we discussed and just make sure that's where everybody is
Okay.
so that we can move forward on it. So I just want to make sure that's where everyone, the whole board is, and we're all in agreement that that's kind of the direction to go in.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other comments on these issues? Okay. Other business? There being none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Charlie?
Yep.
I need to talk to you. Can I call you on your landline?
Yes.
Okay, I will call you shortly. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Joe, before you get off, you, Leslie, Joan, and I need to have about